Okay, hello everyone. So we start this webinar dedicated to dough processing systems. Barely today you have me and Christophe connecting this webinar. I'm in the sales team, mainly at the office, helping our area managers that are on the ground on the different questions that they can have, and also in contact with some customers. I can see some names that I know quite well in the people that are in, and Christophe will introduce himself.
Yeah, so I'm the area manager for Europe, mostly Central and Eastern Europe, and a little bit of Southern Europe as well, and just a little bit of Eastern France where I live, because I'm based only basically 100 meters away from the German border, so that makes it easier to travel on my area.
When do you do a webinar in German?
Maybe it will be done one day. We are thinking about it.
Okay, so thank you all of you guys for being here today. It's great to see so many people. It was also a lot of people this morning, so it was good because we got a lot of preparation for such kind of webinars, and I think it can be very helpful for you also to have a quite overview of what we're making at MERAND. To see our scope of supply, our different customers, such kind of things. So the purpose of the webinar is also to show you the new things that you can have. As said Christophe, we will only scratch the surface of the machines. We won't go into details because we don't have 4 hours before in front of us. So we just sum up the main advantages of the machine and why we can put this solution for customers. As said, we have the question and reply section, so please communicate through this if you have a question. We'll try to reply if we can during the webinar. If not, we will reply at the end, and you'll all receive a link for the replay anyway, so you'll be able to watch out later on if you need to. Last but not least, we are trying to conduct such kind of webinars quite regularly. We have new ones that are planned, more specialized, like on molders, on real pan line. You wanted to do on semi-industrial, I think, also. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep in contact through social networks. We're trying to publish as long as we can, as quick as we can when we have an event. So that's the best way to keep to be kept updated for that. Okay, so let's start then. So I should show you a quick overview of what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna just introduce the company for those who don't know us. Also, we're gonna see the different machines that we propose, just a quick overview. A scope of supply, who do we supply, which kind of customers, yeah, which kind of products as well. And after we go into the more deeper into the machines, so the Artisan line with dividers, proofers, molders, and rounders. And after we're gonna see the bread lines. So there's different ones you'll see dedicated to each for a special product. So we're gonna check this out.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll start with briefly with the company presentation. Some of you may know us already. So MERAND was a family-owned company since 1954, based in the west of France, in Brittany, and very recently, at the end of 2022, the owner Yannick Gérard sold the company to the Belen Group. So because he was approaching retirement and it was time for him to pass on the company, and so the Belen Group is a French group owning several companies, specialized in middle to small size company. And basically nothing changes for MERAND, except that we will benefit the fact that in the group, in the Belen Group, you have several other companies which are producing also manufacturing equipment for the food industry. So this will allow us to exchange technology informations much more easily. As I said, we are based in the west of France, where Marc is located, and then the sales team, we are spread around France. I'm in the east, and then we have 2 people in the south of France, and we each take care of a little part of France and export. As you can see on the picture on the bottom, some of you maybe came to the factory already. We have a brand new baking lab. So this is a place where you can come and test either yourself or with your customer all our solution. Most of our small machine and automatic lines are always available in the baking lab. We have a fully functional bakery for you to prepare your dough. And yeah, with conference room, and it's really a really great tool for our baker to help you with your projects. In terms of team, we are 30 people, including 5 people for research and development. So that's a big part of the 30 people, 5 people just for R&D, and we will explain the philosophy behind that a little bit later. And we have many innovations. So this is mostly why we have so many people in research and development. We are specialists of dough processing. We want to, as specialists, to have as many differences as our competitors with patents and innovations. Here, we just put a few examples. We will talk about them more in details when we present the machine specifically.
Yeah. So here is our team. So Christophe said Yannick passes on, but he's still in the company for a transition for 1 year. So he's our sales director. But our new CEO is Thierry Klaus, who is coming from the milling industry and who was a baker before. So he brings some new ideas and some new philosophy to MERAND. So there's quite a lot of things changing in the company, not the people, so that's not a problem, but no, it's good, especially at the office. Christophe can see less change, but we at the office have seen a lot of changes since October. So good changes is always good. And so you can see our sales team, said Christophe, we almost all of them have a French part where they handle some customers, and also some countries. And we got Xavier, our baking lab and technical advisor. So he's the one doing the demos at the baking lab with customers, and also is doing installation with our technicians. So this concept of team is quite important to us, because when we have a project, we almost never reply on our own. I mean, we always talk each other's. I talk with Xavier, I talk with Thierry, Yannick in our R&D department as well, to check the best solution. That's most of the time as it happens.
So we have a very strong international presence, doing more than 60% of our turnover outside of France. This has been always very important for MERAND since years and years and years. We've been always more active on the international market. This is mostly thanks to our wide network of partners. We have very strong partners all over the world, and we are very happy about that. This also means that we have a very strong know-how with all the types of bread that we can find around the world. We've had projects in South America, in North America, in Asia, or in Central Europe or the Middle East. It's always something completely different, and we have to adapt to the specifics of everyone, adapt the machine, adapt the process, and at the end, it always works for the best, and that's very strong in our experience. It means that we can also install our machines all over the world. Xavier and our technicians are active travelers, and we've had installation everywhere, even in very remote places. That's definitely not an issue for us. And here you can see, just as an information, that we have people from 32 different countries participating today with this afternoon and the other seminar this morning. This morning, lots of people from Asia, and this afternoon, a lot of you guys in North America, South America, and that's really important for us, and we're really proud about that.
Yeah, proud, and it's what I love in my job. Speaking in the morning with Australia, Singapore, and in India, and in the middle of the day with African countries and European countries, and at the end of the day with the USA and Chile, Mexico, and different languages. That's great. I'll show you the 3 key values that we keep in mind when we design a new machine. And first one is the door respect. MERAND, I don't know if you know the brand, if you have known the brand for a long time, but we're quite famous for that. The door respect has always been in our blood, so we make sure not to destroy the bread, because sometimes that's an idea. Some people think machine will not make bread as good as by hand. So that's our job, also to show them that the machines have evolved a lot in the past 20 years, and that now we can do we have some wonderful results on our lines and on our small machine as well. So that's why we have this baking lab, to show that in live, and to show on trade shows as well. We're gonna participate at the IBA in Munich in October, where we're gonna see some of you. So that would be the idea, to make demos, live demos on the booth. Second one is the flexibility of the machine, because we know the bakers have they never have enough room. They're always pushing walls. So that's why we try to make machines that can do as many bread as it is possible. That is important to us, because you can't afford to have 20 different machines in your baking lab. So that's an important point. And last is the modularity of the machine. We know that your products can evolve, and your company, your bakery can grow. So our aim is to accompany you on the different evolution that you can have. You can, for example, start with just buying a divider, and after you can add some different modules. So that's why we design the lines to be on modules, so that you can invest in a module first, and add a module if you want to, for example, do some products with seeds. Then you'll add just a seeder on between the conveyor and the divider. That's something possible, and that's a key point.
So our scope of supply, as you can see on the top right, below MERAND, we say we are dough processing experts, which means that we only do dough processing. We don't do ovens, we don't do cold rooms, we don't do mixers. We only focus on division, resting, rounding, and molding, which means that we can say our range of product is not very wide, but it's very deep. You can see just on the pictures that we don't have only one type of divider or only one type of molder. We have, for each group of machines, a lot of different solutions, which means that we will be able to adapt the solution to you or your customer's project for the best. So we see that some of our customers, some of our competitors, sorry, who are much more generalists, when they offer an automatic line, they will only have one configuration, one automatic line, and that's it. For us, that's not the best way to do it. As we said before, each country has its specificity. Each product has its specificities, and if you want to be as close as possible to the idea of your product, you really need to adapt the machine and the line to what you need to do. So that's why we really have a wide, really deep range of products, and we will talk a little bit more in details about everything now.
Yeah, I think we got 8 different molders.
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So really can adapt. And one thing also, it allows us to be objective on what we advise to customer. If you're looking for a rounder, for example, we're not gonna push only the conical rounder because we only propose that. No, we propose a different one, so we can give you the drawbacks and advantages of the different rounding machines. And I think being objective, because we do not mind selling an eccentric or conical. To us, that's the same. We just want to make sure that it is the correct machine for your product. So that's important. And after our typology of customers, so MERAND is much famous in France, especially to be a very good manufacturer and high quality equipment for artisan customers, bakeries. So dividers, molders, small proofers or medium-sized proofer. But we also do some industrial bakeries and hypermarkets. We supply Auchan, Leclerc, such big one in France, the biggest one in France, and some industrial bakeries as well. We'll supply hospitals, Horeca, such kind of final customers. So we definitely know how to do that, and we have a strong experience in that because we've been in the semi-industrial market for a very long time. I think at least more than 20 years. So that's it. And now we are entering also more and more in the industrial market with much bigger lines. With bigger projects, with tray loaders and loaders, such kind of thing. So we know how to do that. We did one last year, one big industrial.
Yeah, a couple very big ones last year that a few years ago we maybe would not have done with industrial type of customers. So for them it was still a small line, but for us it was definitely the biggest that we could do. So yeah, we see that we have really good solutions to do, let's say, very high quality product, but still with a big productivity, which is often a problem when you want to achieve high quality and high volumes. It gets complicated. But you will see on the when we will talk about the flexi line that you can do big production for us, at least 2,500 pieces per hour, almost all day, but with high quality product.
And sometimes instead of investing in a line who will make 5,000 baguettes per hour, some industrial would prefer to invest in 2 lines of 2,500. There are some advantages to that because you save spots, If a line has a breakdown, you don't have to stop all the production. You can just have one line running. Even if you have less production, you can still supply your main customers. So there are some advantages to that.
Exactly. Okay, so briefly talk about the hydraulic dividers. This has always been the best seller in the company. We can divide them in 3 categories. So the 20 division divider, so that's going to be your very basic simple hydraulic divider, only to be used in a proofer and with a molder. So really the standard traditional process that you know, but no shaping. The pieces of dough that you get are definitely not meant to be used like that. Then in the middle you will have the press shaper, which means that you don't have this functionality of 20 pieces division, but you can press fat block of butter, for example, and you can use then on the side the grid holders, where we have approximately 120 different cutting grids. Here on the pictures, it's let's say 10 division pieces, and we go from anywhere to 2 pieces to, I think, 100, more than 100 very small pieces. Then you have to be patient and pick them up one by one after when you're done dividing. And then you're completely on different process. You work with a block of dough that you take from the freezer or from your cold room, 3 to 4 degrees, and you will divide it with the machine. And from the divider, you will go directly into the oven. So that's the main difference. And then on the right side, you'll have the divider shaper, which combines both functionality. You'll be able to have the 20 division in the tank for a standard process, and you will have the grids in the grid holder. So on the bottom you see some advantages of this solution. It's efficient, it gives you a lot of regularity in terms of product, and it's really comfortable to use for the baker.
Yeah. Hello? Oh, we can't hear you, Christophe. I just wanted to add that some customers would say that all hydraulic dividers are the same. So just divide. Actually, that's not really the case. We can see it on
to customize the machine.
Sorry, Christophe, I couldn't hear you. It was blocked for like 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying that our machines are made for operators to clean the machine easily at the end of the day. Not all hydraulic dividers are the same. For the maintenance, also the access is easier. Such kind of things that can make the machine more durable in time. Instead of lasting 10 years, it will last 20 years because it's much easier to clean, so operators do it.
Yeah, and can you hear me well now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just to finish, on the bottom right, you will see the patented à-tout-pain system, so which is basically what made this machine also quite famous. You see, it's a special plate with a wave shape that you put in the tank. You put your block of dough on this plate, and it goes in combination with a baguette grid, a 10 baguette grid, which is shaped as a V and not as a straight cut like a knife, like all the other grids. And these two things together will combine, and at the end will get you a really nice, really round baguette, and you will trap all the gas inside, which makes the alveolation really nice. You will have really nice big holes in the baguette, which in France at least is always a sign of really, really nice quality.
Yeah. And in those dividers, we also have some new machines that are the Stradivario and Divsmart. So they're kind of new generation of machines. They're very different. We put a small drawing to show you the idea of the machine. The idea is for the machine to be connected. So it's on Wi-Fi. There's a touch screen. So we made it as easy as possible for operators to work with it, and for the boss to make sure that the job is done. So it is a mix between the classic divider shapers that we also have in our range, but and the fully automatic machines that we don't make, but you maybe know the Bongard Paneotrad, for example, where you put just the block of dough and nothing else. The machine does everything else. That's a mix between them. So the difference is that it can make 20 division, which cannot make the other one. So the digital screen, the touch screen, it gives us more possibility than other classic divider shaper. You can record the setting of the recipe, so the baker can make that, and there's password. So it's a special section in the machine, so you can put them, and the operators cannot modify. So we have a customer that has 15 shops, and he wanted to make sure that all his bread are the same in the 15 shops. So a customer, either he goes to New York or he goes to Chicago, he has exactly the same breads. So that was important for him to have such kind of things. So that operators do not make any mistake and cannot change because they think the bread is better if we put more pressure on it or anything. Another thing is that because there's a cycle count on the machine, when operators call a recipe, 20 baguettes, for example, the machine will know at the end of the day how many baguettes you will have done with the machine. So you can export this CSV file to know exactly the production that has been made. It can be either through Wi-Fi, so by email, or USB. Another thing is that it can help you to make sure the cleaning is done. We know that a lot of breakdowns on the machine, as said before, comes from a lack of cleaning. So we try to make sure it is as easy as possible for operators to clean, and still we check if it's done. So every day the machine blocks for 30 seconds, 1 minute. You can decide this time so that operators have time to clean. So they need to do it every day, or the machine won't start. You can adapt such kind of settings as well. The bakery owner can do that. And also it helps for preventive maintenance. So like every 50,000 cycles, the machine is able to say, okay, you need to put some oil, like your car, exactly. So it gives us a lot of possibilities for that. And on Stradivario, there's one more function. It's there are knives in the lid of the machine, which allows you to divide 10 baguettes in without the grid holder. So you just have to close the lid, and it will press the dough, and the knives in the lid will get out to divide the 10 baguettes. So they will still divide under the Artisan system, Alveoform plate, the white plate with wavy plates. So that's 50% less manipulation for baguettes. We designed this function for Auchan in France, who are doing like 70%. It was 75% of their production was baguettes. So when we told them that we had a system to reduce by half the manipulations, they were very happy for that, because they had quite a lot of production, I think.
Yeah, we have a customer, a big Auchan in the east of France, and they will do on the weekend around 100 and 120 blocks of dough. So that's 1,000, 1,200 baguettes. So it makes really a big difference for them in terms of manipulation, having to being able to do everything in one step.
This function is maybe not as much interested as it is for us in France. For you, it's different. If you don't have a big baguette production, that's not interesting. You can just keep with the DivSmart, which has a touch screen, and the EasyMatic, EasyTrack, such kind of function. The touch screen, some customers were quite afraid because they're saying that's too much automatic, and but actually they're surrounded by touch screens. They're on proofers, on ovens, and it's working great. And that's the same for the dividers. There's no problem with that. It's just time for our customers to evolve with time and to accept to have dividers also with touchscreen. That's not made for any customer for sure, but some we have demand for that. So we replied to the demand. We meet the demand with this kind of machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving to intermediate proofers, we will show 3 pictures, and you will see a little bit the type of proofers that we offer. On the left side will be a completely manual solution. So where you divide by hand, take the product by hand, put it by hand in the proofer, and when proofing is done, you get it by hand again, and you put it in your molder. And then you will have what we call semi-automatic version. So again, you divide by hand with a hydraulic divider. Place it by hand in the intermediate proofer, and then it will unload automatically.
Yeah, and also it's cutting sometimes. I think your cat is biting in the net of the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, probably. I will try to make it a little bit better.
That's okay.
Open door. So yeah, that will be with the semi-automatic version. And then we will have the fully automatic version, where basically you don't have any operation. It will be divided with a volumetric divider, and it will be feeding directly the proofer, and then from the proofer it will go automatically into the molder. So all these different models, they work completely differently, but still they have a few similarities. So first we offer a hygiene kit. So that means a UV lamp and air extractors and ventilators, flour dusters, of course, because for some type of sticky dough, so rye dough, or what we call in French tradition dough, tradition baguette, it's really important to have enough flours. Control panels, depending on the type, on the model of the machine. And so yeah, you will see now on one picture something that is similar to all the machines, all the models, is the material that we use for the pockets. It's what we call Niltex. And so Niltex, basically, we wanted to replace felt, which was used in the past, and which is very complicated to use, mostly because it picks a lot of humidity. So for hygiene, it's definitely not the best. Niltex, it's a very, very breathable material. You can see on the picture, you can even see through it. Your dough will be able to breathe. And it's way less sticky, and also it's very easy to clean just with water. So it makes a huge difference compared to what was used in the past.
Yeah, it's like a mosquito net material,
or a camping tent or something like that. It's a mix of nylon and Gore-Tex, so really resistant but very breathable as well.
Let's move on to the Artisan molders. So most of you know the Trigger, which is quite famous in the world. So it's a vertical one with 3 rolls. So there are some things inside the machine that we don't communicate on it because otherwise it would have been copied a lot of time with years. So there's molding quality that is much different than our competitors. We we try to do to have the best possible quality and products with this machine, but also we try to have the machine being durable. I mean, that it lasts to customers 20, 25 years. I got one in Spain. He has it for 25 years. He says his wife is not happy because he's spending too much time with the trigger and not enough with his wife. That's what he told me when I saw him in March. So those kind of machines they're made for artisans. The one that have limited space because it's smaller than horizontal molders, and also the budget is less important. But that's perfect to make, for example, shortbreads, such kind of thing, because you can adjust better than on an horizontal molder, such kind of things. So it's not only a baguette molder. Some customer told me that in the past, but actually it's not. And aside that, we have the armor. So it's called armor ABS. That's the name of the model. ABS means all bread shaping. So it's not the same. It's not only a baguette molder. We can do any type of shape with that. And it's horizontal molding will give you more respect, more door respect. It's much more similar to manual molding, like it was in the very beginning of door mechanization. This is the molders that we had, the first molders that MERAND made in 1954. That's the creation of the company. It was a sprint, and this photo was taken a few weeks ago. So it's still here in our baking lab, and it's still in good shape. We're trying to how do you say, refurbish? Try to not to be a second-hand machine, but we're trying to just to make it work, to have it work. So just to show you that so those durable machine. I won't tell you that this machine has been working for 70 years. That wouldn't be true, but it's in good shape. And at the very beginning of door mechanization, it was important to show bakers that machines can do the same job as by hand. So they needed to design a machine to be as similar as by hand. And so after that, the vertical one arrived in the 70s because bakeries have more and more machines in the lab, and so they wanted to save some space and some budget as well. But now horizontal ones are getting back into the market more and more. Yeah, 5 years ago, I would say that we were selling like 80% of vertical and only 20% of horizontal. But now I think it's maybe closer, like 55% vertical and 45 horizontal.
Yeah, and everybody is also, we see that we have a lot of people who are increasing their productivity, their production, and we, at least in France, you have less and less small bakeries. Unfortunately, they tend to die because competition of big groups and hypermarket is so strong. Everybody is going up in production, so that's also why I think the armor is much more adapted to this situation. And yeah, basically.
And also the markets ones that artisan bakeries are proposing more and more quality to their customers, and so to make quality breads, they want the best quality machines as well. So that's one reason I think as well. To have our machine versatile, to have different types of bread, we use some accessories that are in option. So I'll just show you some of them. Like we have the chin bread guide. So we just put the guide into the machine. So it's just in 2 seconds, and it will calibrate the dough to make sure it fits your tin. So at the end of the molder, you don't have to touch them again. Because touching them will mean quitting the gas and having irregular products. And so it will calibrate and slice them into 3 or 4 parts. So to have the results that you can see on the photo here. So this is only on the trigger, this one. The point top is to make point-ended baguettes. So it's a kind of foam that you say just put into the machine in 2 seconds. The short break guide, this you have on the Traeger or on the Armor. So this will do the same job as chin bread, except but it won't slide them at the end. So it will calibrate the guides, the bread, sorry. And the easy turn is an option that we put to, because we show you after we work a lot with pre-elongated dough pieces at MERAND, and to make short bread that's not that good. It's good for making a long bread like baguettes, but if you want to make short breads, you will have to turn it 90 degrees. So this is an option to make that.
So talking about rounders, we'll start with the Rotable. So basically, the Rotable, the objective, it's an eccentric rounder that is trying to reproduce the hand molding gesture, as with the Armor, which was also trying to reproduce the hand movement of forming a baguette. With the Rotable, it's exactly the same, reproducing the hand movement. This machine is which means that you are very respectful of the dough, compared to a conical rounder that we offer also, but we do very, very rarely because it's much more stressful and for the dough. This machine allows you to have a very wide range of weight. We say between 75 grams and 4 kilograms. So you also have the ounce for our friends in North America. And you can see that it's modular and evolutive system. It can be either used as a standalone machine, or you can include it with a volumetric divider, for example, that makes a good combo for big production of burger bread. I have a customer working like that, or with the divider Reopan, and then it makes it great for big production of panettone, pizza, all type of round type of bread. And then just on the bottom right, you see another machine that's a roller dual. So basically, it's the principle of Rotable, but at the end here, you will see we have included a small integrated molding unit. So for all type of products that need to be rounded first and then molded to make them a little bit longer, that's the type of machine that will do both in one go. And so yeah, it's really adapted for this type of things.
Yeah, it will serve floor space for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about automatic bread lines. First, the automatic groups. This is a good link between artisan and semi-industrial, because many artisans also have automatic groups. If they have some a big bakery, or just supplying some hotel restaurants aside the bakeries. So we have many different automatic groups in at MERAND. They can be with external emptying and internal, vertical molder, horizontal ones, with open hopper, pressurized hopper, pre-rounding dough pieces, pre-elongated ones. So there's many different ones. What's important is to show you that most of our competitors are working with pre-rounded dough pieces. We also propose that for some kind of products. So at the end of the volumetric divider, we put a pre-rounding channel, so it will give a rough bowl, not a final rounding, but just a rough bowl. Why is that? Because it's much easier to center a dough ball in the proofless pockets. Such kind of products, most of the time it's kind of tin bread or such kind of things, and they use we do that as well. We make a dynamic proofer, so the dough piece is changing pockets with every cycle. It doesn't stay in the same pocket all proofing time. So this will give strength to the dough, and for some products it's perfect. If you make tin breads, some pullmans in the US, such kind of things, This is good because you have a tight honeycomb structure. But if you want to make baguettes or long product, it's not good to have rounded dough pieces. So what we have in MERAND, we work with MF2S system. So this will pre-elongate the dough piece. Just seeing that I forgot to translate the pré-allongement. It's the French word for pre-elongated. So you will be able to adjust the strength you will put on the dough piece, and it will put the glutinous network in a good way to be elongated after in the molding. So you will get a longer product with such kind of system, and you're not tearing the dough. And also you will get a more regular aspect for that. Yeah, many customers told me that it's okay. I have my rounded dough pieces, and I get 77 centimeters baguettes. I'm saying no, you don't. Your operator is just grabbing back the baguette at the end and elongate it manually. But if you want an automatic deposit, or if you want just much more regular products, then you need such kind of system. And this is used in static proofers, so the dough piece stays in the same pocket all proofing long. And we use a special loader for that. You can see a brief drawing of it here.
Okay, so moving to something very recent that we added to our range is the Divblock. We say thought by you, designed by us, because it's a machine, an idea that came mostly from our client in supermarket, hypermarket, that were working a lot with a two-pan divider, which means they had to do a big production of blocks of dough. And this also means that they had one operator usually crouching in the mixer at the end to get out his let's say 3.5 kilograms of dough by hand, weigh it by hand, put it on the plate, put it on the ladder, and go back and crouch again into his mixer, which created a lot of issues with muscular problems and also just productivity issues. So we decided to take a volumetric divider but adapt it to make it able to do this task. So first, by using a bigger piston to divide bigger portions of dough, and a few systems to make it really accurate in terms of weight, which means that in the end, let's say for a mixer of 160 kilograms of dough, so you'll do 45 blocks of 3.5 kilograms, and the machine will divide all that in 7 minutes. For those interested, there is a video on YouTube where our baker is comparing both solutions in mirror, doing one by hand, one with the machine, and you will see the whole process until the end where we cut the baguette, and you will see that it makes absolutely no difference. Here on the picture, it's what we call the Divblock Mono. So it's only to be used that way. And then we also have the Divblock Dual, which is a version that we can include then in the Polypin automatic lines, which means that this belt that you see just after the Divblock can be used perpendicular to how it is on the picture, and then the operator will place his blocks of dough on this tray and then move it directly to the ladder. And when his production of blocks of dough is finished, he will just switch the belt and put it in the direction that you see on the picture, and then the machine can be used to feed a proofer in this automatic line. So we call it Polypin because it can then produce blocks of dough with the Divblock Dual. It can produce white bread because then that's the standard way basically of producing baguette in an automatic line. And we can do what we call in France tradition baguette. So it's much more hydrated Depending on your flour, of course, then it's usually around 72 and 74% hydration. And you can see on the top right a picture. This is made possible because of a couple of things. Normally in a standard automatic line, it's very tricky to work with those hydrated baguettes, because with this hydration level, 72, 74%, if you are doing a proofing time the same that you are doing for white bread, so usually between 15 and more than 20 minutes sometimes, if you do that with a hydrated baguette, it will not work. When the pockets need to flip your pieces of dough into your molder, basically the pocket will flip, but you will look on top and you will see that all the pieces are stuck into the pockets, because it's much more hydrated. So with the switch on the top right, you have the possibility to just fill one pocket out of two, or just one row out of two. So you will divide your proofing time. It will still be enough for hydrated baguette, because usually your dough has proofed before and it will prove again, rest again later. So you will have a really nice product, but with a shorter proofing time. And that makes it a very, very complete solution.
Yes. And then we'll talk about the craft line. Our craft line is basically what I was explaining before, with pre-rounding dough pieces. Typically, that's the way we use it. That way, it's good to have a conical rounder who will have more dense honeycomb structure in the dough. And this is dynamic proofer. So the bread will change, dough piece will change pockets on each cycle of the proofing. So it will give more strength to the dough. You got here on the left each time the different products that you can make with the line. So I said before, it's basically just round products, or also short ones. It's quite compact, because dynamic proofer is much more compact than a static one, but it gives you quite it's quite flexible. You can tap, you can do a lot of different bread with such kind of things, thin bread, short breads, but also called baguettes. That's some kind of things possible. We have weight above 900 grams. If you have some projects, we can do specifics, and we have bigger molder, bigger proofer as well, because that's the key point. The proofer can only accept some weights, so we have some things to strengthen the pockets. Hydration generally is higher, is not that high on such kind of lines. On most of the lines, we put stainless steel structure to make them more durable in time. And yeah, depending on the production volume, but this can be operated with one person alone if needed. So all depend on the volume and on the product you will do and the modules you will have on the line.
Okay, so talking with starting to talk about the bigger lines now with the Reopan. This is definitely the most versatile, the most complete line in all our product range. If you are talking just about the divider, this will produce all types of rectangular dough, because we are working with a guillotine. So of course, all type of product will be rectangles or square. This will allow you to produce ciabatta, focaccia, and then the line is very modular. You can see we put 3 pictures. You have a configuration really simple with a divider and a molder. So then it will be ideal to produce ciabatta, focaccia with the divider, and then baguettes and all type of long product with the molder. You can have it more complete by including a Rotable. Then in this version, it's already quite complete. You'll be able to do panettone, brioche, pizza, even with stickier dough, so like pinza romana, which is the big trend at the moment, at least in Europe. can sometimes be tricky with some other types of dividers, but the Rheopan divider works as a no stress division, which means that the dough is naturally falling down into the machine. It will be very softly turned into a band of dough. So the humidity will not be attracted to the outside of the dough, which is sometimes the case when you work, for example, with a volumetric divider. The humidity is attracted outside of the dough. And when you go into a rounder with that type of dough, it will be very, very sticky and very complex to work. With a Rheopan divider, the humidity stays inside the dough, and you will have great rounding even with a very hydrated dough. So that makes it even more complete. And then on the bottom right, you will see another version where we even included a proofer. So you will be able to do white bread or all type of bread where you think, or your client think, that he needs more proofing time. We will add proofing time into the line. You see that it has a very high weight accuracy because the machine has two scales. So each piece of dough is weighed twice, once for the first cut and a second one to control, and we have an accuracy of 1 to 2%. So usually, depending on the weight of your piece, will be 5 grams approximately. And if the machine sees that the piece of dough is a little bit too heavy, it will give the information to the system to cut the next one a little bit shorter. So the machine is always adapting itself using both datas to always stay very, very accurate. Just on the top right, you can see the different models that we have with different hopper capacity, production per hour. So from 470 to 865, and then the minimum and maximum weight. Then you will work with 1 row of dough or 2 rows. So here, like I said, we have a few examples, but honestly, if you have a project, ask us, consult us, because we have much more possibilities to adapt with grain system. As you can see on the pictures, we can have double rounder if you have a very big production of round pieces. So yeah, just let us know, and probably the Rheopan will be able to produce what you want to produce.
And it's a modular line, so you can start with a divider at the beginning and make it evolve with time while the bakery is growing. So that's the thing. And
exactly. Or we also had the case where the client had one building, and the building was already crowded with equipment, so he didn't have the possibility to have the line as it's shown on top. So with the rounder, he bought it first with the Rheopan and the molder, and as soon as his new building is finished, he already told us that he will add the Rotable. So we'll just have to move the rounder, move the molder a little bit forward, and include the Rotable into the line.
And this line, you can see the middle picture. We can see there's no proofer. Same for the left one. That's because it's not stress division, as said Christophe. So it's much different, and the cost is also much different than a volumetric dividers. But that's important to know because I know we have customers interested in putting a volumetric divider, a conveyor, and a molder, like the one in the middle. All right. So that's possible here with the Rheopan because there's no stress, so the dough doesn't have to rest after. But with the volumetric dividers, there's more stress on the dough. So it's important to check if this process is okay for you. If you do it manually in your building and it's okay, it depends, because manual dividing isn't stressing a lot the dough. So that's something to check with some kind of videos, photos of your products. I'm thinking about such kind of things. And yeah, we have such kind of lines with some industrial, but also artisan customers that have the one in Lyon.
Yeah, I think the critical point usually is an artisan still with 3 to 4 shops, and he wants to centralize the production in one place. I recently had a case of a line, a very complete line that we installed in France just before Christmas. It was a young guy, a young baker with lots of good ideas and who really wanted to expand the family bakery. He already had 3 bakeries and he wanted to buy 3 more. And he felt that with his existing equipment, he would not have the possibility to produce for 3 more bakeries. So for him it was a really good time to invest in the machine. And yeah, I would say that most of our artisan customer have usually between 3 and 4 bakeries. That's when it really starts to get interesting.
Yeah, but really it's trend line. So if you don't know it well, please just check some videos. We didn't put videos in this webinar with Christophe because we didn't have 4 hours to present everything. So sorry guys, we will show videos on more specific webinars. I want to do one on Reopan as well. So it will be soon, I think, hopefully in April. And I will definitely show videos on that one. But in the meantime, if you want to check videos, you can see on YouTube. If you go type Reopan MERAND, you'll find it right away. We got quite a good channel with many different configuration and videos. So,
yeah, and next week I will be traveling to this customer and making a new video because they are doing many different type of products. So and they have a very complete configuration. So we'll be able to show that as well.
Great. And you were talking about Pinza Romana. Also, if you don't know this kind of product, Pinza Romana, it's really trendy now in Europe. It's anyone I'm speaking to who knows well this product says that it's gonna replace pizza. So I wasn't believing it when I heard about it 1.5 years ago, but now I can see more and more people talking about it. And this line, the Reopan line, can do Pinza Romana, and it's a very the difference with pizza is that it's more hydrated dough and fermented like 48 to 72 hours. It's much more digest and it's really good actually. So just get interested to that product, Pinza Romana. It's coming from Rome, obviously. Okay, let's move on to the FlexiLine. So the FlexiLine is our line baguette line. So you can do baguettes, but you can also do quite a baguettes, half baguettes, kind of things. We have different FlexiLine in our range. We got the 1.8, the 2.5, we got the 2.0. So just tell us, Guy, what you want to do, which kind of products, what the lengths, what the production volume, and we'll advise you on the best configuration for you. You can see on the left, it's with a 3-form molder, which will give shape to the baguette progressively, step by step. And on the right, it's a Proform molder. So yeah, I wasn't lying when I was saying that we have 8 different molders. And this one has a tray loader, unloader, but that's a module, so you can choose not to have it. That's no problem. So our biggest FlexiLine can do 2,500 pieces per hour. When I say pieces, I'm saying baguette. So on all our FlexiLine, we use the MF2S system to pre-elongate the dough piece. And this is to make different products like those ones. So we will put online this video soon. It's not online yet. We made it for a customer in the Iceland, and they had lots of very regularity on the products. So if you have any projects for baguettes, just let us know, and we'd be glad to help you with that.
Okay, so moving to the rolling line. This is an automatic divider rounder. We can work with a very wide range of weight, as you can see in the chart. But when we say 7 grams to 360 grams, that's for different models. One model is not going to give you this weight range. The best is to consult us, because we have many different weight ranges, depending also on the model and the capacity of the line. You can see on the left that just the divider rounder, and at the exit here you have 2 belts. And in terms of capacity, we usually say that capacity is 1,500 pieces per hour and per belt, per row. So this one is doing 3,000 per hour, and we will go up to 8 rows. On the bottom right, you see a project that we did, I think last year or 2 years ago, and that's 6 row for a company producing only brioche.
An industrial, yeah.
An industrial customer, yeah. So in terms of how it works, you have a rounding in 2 steps. So first you will have a first rough molding, and then a finishing rounding, which is much more polished, much more round. You have a wide weight range, that's what I said already, and a very high weight accuracy. It's really impressive when you see it working. I was at the factory a couple of weeks ago with customer from Kazakhstan, and we tried I think 35 grams, and basically all of them were doing like between 34 and 36. It was really accurate. So that's great if you or your customer have a contract where you have to supply a product, let's say to schools or hospitals or the army, and usually or sometimes in this type of contracts you will be required to respect some weight tolerance in your piece. And with this machine, you are pretty sure that you will always be in the tolerance that you need to respect. On the left, you see the machine alone, and then on the right, you see just different configuration. In the middle, we combine it to our molder armor. And on the right, it's the module that we call polycombi. It gives you many different possibilities. So these are different belts that you can adjust to make the round piece a little bit longer, for example, to do hot dogs, or to make flatbreads, or this kind of products. You have a lot of possibilities, and it also makes it much easier to work with one operator, because the piece of dough will come back basically where the guy is standing and controlling the machine.
Yeah, and we didn't put everything in the photos, but we also have a proofing system and automatic panning for such kind of lines. Obviously, with industrial bakeries with 12,000 pieces per hour, they can't grab it manually. So we have panning system as well. That's something possible. We had a trade show in Rennes, near to our offices, an industrial trade show, a French trade show. And it was 2 weeks ago, and we saw that many customers were interested in making very small burgers, buns, so 7 grams, just 7 grams, and so we can make it with this machine. It looks like it's trendy. It's mini burgers for just aperitif.
Yeah, and also a lot, catering companies, supplying catering companies, these kind of things. It's really a great product.
Yeah. Okay. Here we are. Then we have the Aquapan range. So those lines are dedicated to square products. So they are not molded. You can see the different products on the left. So mainly ciabatta, focaccia, square pizza, those kind of things. Small square breads. We have different modules, different range. We go from the Aquapan 1000 to Aquapan 9000. So the difference is mainly the production volume. We can go up to 1 ton an hour with the biggest ones. So we have more module to have it more automatic. We have automatic feeding, such kind of modules. So with those lines, we divide with the dimensions of the products. So there's no weight control like there was on the rail pan line. Anyway, either you divide with dimensions or with weight, but you can't do both. So on this line, it's dimensions. So this allows us to do hydrated dough, very hydrated dough, and with fermentation as well. We can go up to 80 to 90%, always depend on the flour you're using, but that gives you an idea of the things. I saw some dough on it that were liquid, really. So there are very easy to use. There are touch screens on the machines. You can put the parameters, the settings, and basically you probably know such kind of lines. But I just wanted you to know that we also make such kind of lines. All right. So yeah, that's it for the aquapan.
And then to finish, so that's going to be the last slide for this webinar, 1 hour and 15 minutes exactly. So now if you have questions, now is the time to start thinking about them and start typing them in the Q&A box. And in the meantime, so to finish the scoring line, something a bit more specific, really dedicated to scoring the top of your product before going into the oven. Not a lot of customer mechanize this, but some of them realize that it's a very time-consuming operation and that it's definitely not the best to do it by hand. If you want to look for regularity in the look of your finished product, you will not be able to achieve this by having one guy doing thousands and thousands of cuts in the day during the production before going into the oven. So at some point it becomes important and necessary to mechanize this part. Also, one thing really important for food safety, I would say, you have way less risk with this type of solution in terms of losing a blade or something like that, which had happened in the past. So on the left side, you will see what we called the most manual version of the automatic scoring line, where your operator will take the tray by hand from the ladder and slide it into the machine, and it will just make a quick pass through in the machine and come back on the bottom a few seconds later, and then it will pick them back by hand and put it back into the ladder. Then in the middle and on the right, you have the same, but with much more automation, where the trays are installed on a conveyor. Then we have versions where you load them by hand, or versions where it's done automatically with some, how to say, small elevator systems.
No, sensor, lifter.
Yeah, a lift, exactly. And then on the right, you'll have the most complete, most automated version, and that's for very, I would say, for big industrial customer who really want to have absolutely no manual operation to do with that. But in some bakery, I've had cases where the delivery driver, because before going into the different shops delivering by truck, that guy was doing it by hand, just on his waiting time. But at some point, the owner realized that that's not an ideal solution as well, so they decided to go with this. And basically, you have the possibility to do either a straight cut or slanted cut. And what we require from you, if you have a project, is we send you a document, some kind of formula, where you will give us the dimensions of your baking trays, and also all type of scoring that you want to do, the length of the scoring, the angle, the number of scoring, and then our research and development team will look at this formula and will be able to say basically go or no go, or maybe it can work, but we will not have enough room to do 4 cuts. We'll have to move to 3 cuts. And based on all that, each machine is built on demand.
Yeah, as we said since the beginning of this webinar, we design our machine to be as close as possible to manual handling. So that's why we didn't move to water cut. That you probably know. We kept with blades, so like by hand. We find more advantages for that. We have the middle line in the UK, I think. Was sold one of my customers. Okay, so now let's move on to questions. If you have some guys, I saw one question about recommended hydration rate on the Riopan line, the minimum one. Actually, Riopan, I just go back to it. Up here it is. We can, as you can see on the left, you can also make tin breads or such kind of product, which are very low hydrated. We just need to make sure that the dough will fall into the hopper, but that's quite a big star to divide. So normally it's not a problem. We can you can still send us a video for us to check with our baker. He will be able to know definitely if the dough is okay or not, or if we need some tests to make it sure. But no, there's no hydration rate doesn't really mean anything to us, because we saw so many different things. 60% in Asia is not the same as 60% in the UK or in the US, with a stronger flour, which will drink much more, and so that's different. But yeah, you can hydrate the dough pieces, but also strong ones. We got a customer in Argentina who is only doing panettone with this line. We have the video online on YouTube. You can see it. So it's even if it's sticky, it's quite strong dough. So yellow dough is okay. Brioche. That's mainly, as said Christophe. Just tell us a bread, and this it's most likely that the Riopan line can do it.
Yeah, usually harder dough is easier to handle than very soft dough. So yeah, like Mark said, no real minimum value, because also again it depends a lot of your flour. If you are talking about plain normal wheat flour, or if you are adding a mix with rye, as you do sometimes a lot in the US, it will be very different. You can have a harder dough but much stickier. So it's the best is to send us a video or a recipe, and we will share that with Xavier, who will be quickly able to make a test or say, yeah, it could work, or it would not work.
Yeah, and we have another question on the material that we use on our Rotable rounder. So on the standalone machine, just show it back. Up, there it was here.
Yeah.
On this one, on standard, it's felt. Felt is the best for molding, for rounding. That's where we have the best results. That's also why we still have felt on our molders and not synthetic coating. But I would say that 70-60% of our cells are with felt for standalone machine. So that's an option. You can either choose felt or synthetic coating. The synthetic coating is perfect if you have hydrated dough. If you show us a video of the dough you have, we can say no, don't take felt. It won't work. It will stick. It is. We can't sell it to you like this, because we already know it will not work. But if not, it depends. We have different flour dusters. On the
and also, if I can add, the synthetic version is much more adapted to let's say, semi-industrial or industrial use, even for food safety and this kind of thing. It's much more adapted. That's why Mark is showing now the good slide, because you see on the Reopan on the top, the version that we have here. When it comes in this configuration in a Reopan, we know it's going to be for heavy use, semi-industrial use, and then we deliver it in standard with this synthetic band and not with felt anymore, because it's much more adapted.
Yeah, on this version as well, there's a touchscreen where you will be able to adjust the speed and the flour to adjust as well. So where you would put the flour in the rounder, so where it starts sticking, such kind of things.
And if you have a very, very sticky dough, you'll have the possibility even to have a second flooring unit around the circle of the Rotable.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. I think we're done. So thank you guys for having attended this webinar. It was great to see you. Great to present you our machine, to have this overview. Sorry, we didn't go deeper in the specifications of the machines, but now you can ask us anything by email, to me, to Christophe, to anyone of our team. You got their mail in this webinar. Just let us know if you have a project, and we'll tell you quickly if we can make it or not. Some of you already know that we try to be as reactive as possible. So we just let you know, either we can make or we can't make it, but we won't make you lose time. Yeah, we work as a team to build a solution and try to help you in your projects, growing projects. Yeah. So we're gonna send you a link for the replay then on Monday. And if you have any suggestions of new topics for new webinars, just let us know. Any improvements that we can have on the webinars, because there certainly are some. Same, let us know. We'll take it. That's okay.
Yeah. So we'll have to wish a nice day to our friends in North America, and nice evening to see a few people we know from the old continent, from Europe. So have a nice day and have a nice evening to all of you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.